Well, hello, hello. Look who we have here.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Morgan James. Look at you, prolific superstar. Great to see you again.
Good to see you again too. When's the last time I saw you in Nashville?
In Nashville, you were, headlining an incredible show with the symphony orchestra
Yes, that was, I guess, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I mean, just standing ovations all over the place, Morgan James. You know,
It was so fun.
it was so fun. It was a Judy Garland tribute, now that I remember.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
But let's start with that, Judy, Morgan, because you've done Judy Garland tributes. You play big theaters, you play cruise ships where we met at a
Yeah.
Beach Boys cruise, you play amphitheaters, you play all sorts of rooms.
Yeah.
Which feeds your soul more, Morgan? Like, do you have a favorite?
I say this sometimes in my show that, sometimes I go one night I'll be playing in front of a full symphony orchestra. The next night I'll be with a big band. The next night I'll be in a small little intimate club with my band or trio or something. And sometimes I do them all back to back. And it's pretty incredible the variety and the diversity in my career. I feel pretty lucky. And it's just I can't pick between them because it's just so I think that for a lot of people that would be so many different logistics and so much music to learn and it would be too much. And for me, what really feeds my soul is this that I'm constantly challenged and I'm constantly, getting to be in front of completely different kinds of audiences. And, ultimately if the music is great, that's the star. The music is the star.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, Morgan, is life fantastic right now? I feel like, is there anything better than being successful in music? And I feel like that's what you're doing.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I don't think there's anything better than getting to do what you love and make it your life's work and make it your living. I think that when I first started out, I would say to myself when I was first in New York, all I want to do is someday I just want to be able to make a living, just pay my rent making music, whether it's on Broadway or whatever, and I didn't know that my career would take all these other twists and turns. And, as you get older, you get more jaded and your dreams grow and sometimes your dreams fade. And it's always good to come back to that first dream and to
Mhm.
remember the gratitude, because you're right. Just what you said. Is there anything better than doing what you love and making a career in music? And as hard as it is, it's still the only career I want.
Oh my God, totally. And it's your purpose. So where are you right now, Morgan? You're on tour, I would imagine.
Right now I'm in New York. I'm in New York for 2 days, today
Okay.
and tomorrow. Um, and then I'm back on the road on Thursday.
Amazing. So what is like your day like, Morgan, right now? Like when you're on tour, what is your day like? Like what are you doing right now? Like what this morning, the whole thing.
Well, when I'm home so infrequently that my days at home are a little chaotic. I wish they were a little more relaxed, but my days at home are often unpack, do laundry, deal with the house, all the things that have been neglected around the house,
Sure. Check the
errands,
mail.
errands and tasks and fixing things and dealing with the animals and doing all the things like, my hair, my nails, like all the things I need to do, like, errands. And
Sure.
then I have to repack, so my days at home are kind of like unpack, laundry, repack.
Of course. Of course. And are you traveling with the dog or is the dog staying in New York?
All three of my dogs come with me.
Of course. Tour manager, the whole thing.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Like, why not? Why not add even more chaos? But why not?
Amazing, Morgan. So this new album, oh my God, Soul Remains the Same. So damn good, by the way.
Thanks.
First of all, congratulations. I mean, but like, I am so curious about this, Morgan. Where does like, you're so full of good ideas. You're like a magic 8 ball of creative ideas. You're like, and by the way, we just submitted the Grammy ballot this morning, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but you may have, we definitely clicked your name. But
Oh, thank you so much.
point being, like, it's just great stuff. But like, where does the idea to come up with something like this come from, Morgan? Is it like, you're doing your nails and a moment of inspiration comes, or is it like a drawn out thing that you're like, you talk with Doug, you talk with everybody about like, hey, I want to do this.
I always have like four burners on the stove of ideas at all times. I never run out of ideas. Whether I have the time and the money to fulfill the ideas and to bring them to fruition is another story. But this particular idea, I knew that I wanted a break from writing because my last album was an original album. I knew I needed a little bit of a break from that. And I wanted to make something People love when I sing Dream On. They love when I sing these big, iconic men's songs like Sledgehammer and I'm a Ram, and, the list goes on and on. And I said, we were on a road trip, Doug and I with the band. We were listening to all these iconic 80s and 90s tunes, and something came on by Soundgarden. I was like, this song is so epic. It would sound so amazing in a woman's voice. And oh my God, what if there were horns? And then the next song came on. I was like, this would sound so epic if there were horns. That it kind of went on like that. And Doug was like, this is what we should do. This would be such an epic album. It would be so fun and creative. And because I didn't write the songs, I don't have as much emotional attachment in the outcome. And instead, I was just able to throw myself into the creativity of it. And my only goal was to make it authentically soul and R&B and funk. And my other goal was to really, really honor the great songwriting, and some people said to me when we kind of were getting this idea going, some people aren't going to like it. And I was like, some people, you can't please all the people.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But if people give it a try, even if they're extreme metalheads, I think if they give it a try, they'll find like, wow, this is a completely different way to listen to my favorite music.
Yeah. I mean, what impresses me the most about the album, Morgan, I mean, many things, but like a song like Thunderstruck, right? Like, you find such an incredible balance because, I mean, it would have been so easy to overdo maybe the vintage soul texture, or maybe like what I'm trying to say is, blending these tightropes, these audio tightropes is so delicate.
Yeah.
And like you nailed it.
Thank
And I am curious, like, and I mean this, how the heck did you nail this tightrope? Did you have like, did you trust your gut for something like this, or did you have like a good team? Because masterfully, you just kind of like kept it, but at the same time made it your own.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. It is really, really tough because I never want anything to go into the category of like tongue in cheek or making fun of something or just doing something to make it clever. I don't want to make albums like that. How do you change something that's already iconic and make sure that you keep the authenticity, right? And
Yeah.
I think one of the main things that we really clung to was the fact that we spent a lot of time on the arrangements and a lot of time listening to references so that the reference points, the things that we were quoting, the things that we were trying to pay homage to were very clear. It wasn't like general soul, we wanted the Ozzy Osbourne tune to feel like a James Brown tune. And I think everything from the horns to the bass line to everything in between feels like a James Brown tune. We Funkadelic, Rufus and Shaka, Parliament. There were a couple of Aretha tracks that I referenced, down to I want the drum line to feel like this. I want the bass line to feel like this. Really specific reference points so that everything is truly being drawn from classic soul and R&B, not just a general, oh, let's make it soulful.
Totally. Totally. Now, a song like Tonight, let me talk about Down the Closer, the Smashing Pumpkins Closer. I mean, a complete true performance, you've called it, and it's true. It's such a beautiful thing. For how long? I mean, but like you basically show these lyrics that like in your mind, I think you've heard them all the time. And like we haven't. It's almost like you're showing us how special this song is, even more than like people realized.
I played this song live 2 nights ago,
Uh-huh.
and I said to the audience, have you ever had a song that you've listened to 100 times, but you never heard it? And this song, to
Yeah.
me, I heard it all growing up, but I never listened and learned how melancholy and beautifully deep the lyrics were. I never knew that. And I think that that song touches me so much, and I had no idea. So that there were a couple moments like that where like, wow, these songs like became so much. I grew to love them in such a deeper way because
Right.
you discover the lyrics while you're uncovering all these other like colors.
Amazing. No, I mean, it's such a prestigious job. All right, Morgan. Well, thank you for your time. I want to ask you about one more song, but first, actually, let's pivot for a second, because every time I've seen you, I want to compliment you on something that is actually the older I get, the more I appreciate, and it is your incredible kind of emotional state. It's like every time I've seen you, since I met you in the cruise ship, when I see you at the Symphony Hall, everyone that meets you, my good friend Maggie Rose, everyone just loves you. You're always in such great like attitude of gratitude and empathetic with everybody. And I'm curious, Morgan, how you do this, because I know it's a habit, I know it's a muscle. especially being in show business for a few years like you have. Like you say, it's sometimes it's easy to become jaded and be like, there's so much to be jaded about, but yet you've kept that beautiful emotion. How have you done it, like Morgan?
Thank you. That is so sweet. That means a lot to hear that. I do work at it because, on these long days, touring is really hard. It's very arduous. It's very hard on your body. It's hard on your spirit. When a couple days ago, I was in St. Louis. I got up at 4 a.m., 2 flights, get the rental car, drive to sound check, do a meet and greet, do a sound check, do a show. And I'm spent, right? But the thing that pulls me through is the fact that we saw that it could all be taken away in the pandemic, and that keeps me at a level of gratitude that is extremely high.
Hmm.
B, no matter how tired I am, it's the Joe DiMaggio way of looking at things, where it's like somebody's there that's never seen a baseball game. Maybe somebody's there that has never met me or never seen my show, and I want to look them in their eyes. I want to thank them for coming. I want to be really, really present. So no matter how tired I am, the people that show up and support live music like are the buoy that keeps me afloat, truly. And I also, I get to travel with my husband, with my band, with my dogs. Like they keep you humble. They remind you of what's important. And that's why actually it really, really hurts me deeply when someone will write a comment like, oh, Morgan didn't take a picture with me, or Morgan didn't give me enough time after the show. And it honestly, like, nothing hurts me more than that, because I go out of my way to like really speak to and shake the hands and look into the eyes of every person that wants to talk to me after the show. I try to respond to every comment on social media. And it's something that I find is really important, because connectivity and connection is what we get from music. It's not just like, oh, I want to play music and you want to hear music. It's like, if I'm just playing a show and then leaving, it's just, there's no connectivity there. And so the connection with the human beings that make my life possible is really important to me.
100%. Well said, Morgan. All right, Morgan, thanks for your time. Let me leave you with this. Um, my favorite song of yours, I think. I mean, there's so many, but there's one that I keep coming back. It's just like the emotion that you captured in it. It's like it gives my goosebumps. And that is "Let Me Keep You," which you wrote with Robert Glasper. If you
Yes.
don't mind just indulging me for a second, tell me the story about how that song came about, because you just captured such raw emotion in that one.
Oh my God. That is such a special song. And so Robert and I were set up on like a writing date by the label. He was like really hot shit at that time, still is. And the label, I was working on my first album. And my A&R at the time said, what about doing like a collaboration with Robert Glasper? I said, yeah, that'd be great. So they got his window of availability. It was like a few days later, he had a day free, or an afternoon. And so we met at the studio. We had never met before. And the studio was a studio called Samurai Hotel. It's in Queens. And I've actually done many, many videos there. But at the time, it was not finished. It was completely under renovation or under construction. So it was like the only thing in there was like the console and a piano, like, and one light. And we sat down and he said, what do you want to write about? And I said, I've been thinking a lot about keeping someone's secret, and how people confiding in you or having a family secret. And he looked at me, like his eyes got really wide, and he's like, I want to write about that too. And I said, okay, great. So basically we confided in each other that we had both been keeping secrets, from like holding secrets that our family had given us. He had on his end and I had on my end.
Hmm.
And without divulging what they were, we talked about basically being able to like release someone's burden by holding a painful secret for them. So that song is,
Wow.
we had this really deep conversation. We got so heavy and emotional. And he stood up, walked to the piano, and what you hear on the recording, this is going to give me chills. What you hear on the recording is what he sat down and played from his heart.
Wow.
One take.
One take. Unbelievable.
So then I went into the booth and he was like, just sing from your heart. We sat down and wrote that essentially, like it poured out of us. And then I basically went in and did a take of vocals, and he's like, all right, let's play, let's add textures, let's add some choirs, you know. But that song is it's an idiosyncratic song. It's not a very traditional written song, but what it is, it poured out of our hearts. And um I just feel like we shared. That's so rare and unusual that you sit down with somebody that you don't know and you are able to capture something extremely special.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Morgan. Well,
Yeah.
you've said it all. New album Soul remains the same. It's out now. It's such a pleasure to see you. You know, you're on tour throughout the fall. You're going to be here in Nashville playing at the Country Music Hall of Fame, I think
Yes.
in mid-November or something. So we hope to be there and say hi.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but Morgan, thank you for your time and thanks for always being wonderful and being a light.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for tuning in. Click here to subscribe and get the latest from the show, including exclusive behind the scenes footage and once in a lifetime performances. And as always, thank you for making Jrod Concerts Media part of your day.